All right. Probably the most important metric is gross profit margin. I think a lot of us, we track our expenses, hopefully, and we track our total revenue, but we don't necessarily pump that into a percentage, which we should, because again, percentages are relative and they pertain to the actual size of our business. These percentages that I've listed out here are really, really accurate. Service-based business is a low profit margin endeavor. So, if you're looking to get rich off this stuff, you really got to get big, just because you're going to always be paying someone a percentage of what you're selling to do the actual service. It's not like you're selling a product where you can get it made for $5 and sell it for 50 and the margins are insane. Maybe even at the end of the day, after all your operating costs, it could be 50% margins. It's going to be 20% is awesome. 25% is incredible. So I've had some months, where we've had 28%, and it's freaking amazing, but it really does depend on what's going on. The other thing to take into consideration here is this is after the owner's paid. So this needs to be after the owner's salary or the draws are taken out, because if you're not paying yourself and you're pumping out a gross profit margin, the numbers are going to be skewed. I mean, they're fake. They're fake numbers. Even if you were prepping your business for sale, the first thing any sort of investor or buyer would look at is your profit margin, but also if you're being compensated fairly as well as an owner. People want to purchase a business where the owner is being compensated well and there's profitability. So when we look at gross profit margin, we need to take out the numbers we're paying ourselves first if you're the owner, so that it's actually pumping out a real number in front of you. And then we go from there. If you guys really want to get really good at finance and understand accounting a little bit more, read a book called Profit First. I think it's by Mike Michalowicz. There's also a Profit First for micro gym owners. I haven't read that rendition. I just read the main one by Mike, who he runs an accounting firm now and does a bunch of speeches and stuff. But what this is Mike pretty much says that small business owners need to be setting their profitability from the start. So I'm going to call it boomer accounting is, we have our we have our sales revenue, or we have our total revenue, and then we have our expenses. And then at the end of the day, what's left is profit. But this doesn't really, there's no strategy. We want goals, we want projections. And so what you really should be doing is saying, okay, I want to, let's say we can start more conservatively. I want a 15% profit margin. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to automatically take out 15% of what your average total monthly revenue is. We're going to take 10% of that, and we're going to put it into a different account, an account that you don't look at. So I would recommend like even a high yield savings account for this. And you're going to put it in there, and you're going to forget it exists. Obviously, it exists, but you're not going to like look at it, because when we have money, we want to spend it. And then you're going to take 5% of that, and you're going to put it in a tax savings account. And that should also be like a high yield savings account you use to pay your quarterlies or yearly taxes, however you do it. And so we're already pre-planning and pre-saving for taxes, which you should be doing. And then we're taking out the money from our operating expense account on the front end. And what this makes us do, it makes us get really, really clinical and serious about how we're spending. I think in late 2018, I emailed my business coach, or I hopped on a call, and I was like, Katrina, I have 50 grand in my business account for the first time. I've never seen that number before. It's incredible. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. Have I had you read Profit First? And I was like, no. And, she had me read Profit First, and it was game changing, because yeah, your account can build, but the bigger your account is, the more money you're going to want to spend. As business owners, we want every dollar to be earmarked for something. And so that means this dollar is for profit, this dollar is for taxes, this is for equipment, this is for cost of goods sold, whatever it is. So I recommend Profit First. Read that, and then this will all tie in. What you could do is take a look, if you have enough accounting history, take a look at what your profitability's been, maybe the last 3 months, I guess we're almost to the end of the quarter, but just the last 3 or 4 months. Take an average and then automatically transfer that money out, save that money monthly at whatever rate that is, and just make sure it's sustainable. And then all of a sudden you're going to start saving a lot more. The last thing I'll leave you here with this is just, I think it's called Parkinson's law. And it has to do with the more you have of something, the more you want to use the resource. And so we're trying to avoid that here. The more money you have in that account, the more you're going to want to spend it. Let's take it out. Let's not look at it. Let's save it and, use it for other things and expansion and growth opportunities in the future, or pay yourself. Either way.